Hi everyone, welcome back to the garden. It's a quick video today because it's actually getting quite dark pretty quickly, but I wanted to have a quick look at 3 exotic plants that I definitely believe deserve to be more popular. They're plants that are currently quite rare, but I think are certainly going to become more widely available. They're great for any UK tropical style garden, and they're really handy plants for putting in tricky areas. So let's get started with the first one. The first plant I think deserves a mention is this bamboo behind me. It's Fargesia demissa Gerry, and it's a fantastic bamboo for so many UK gardens for a few good reasons. Firstly, because it's Fargesia, it's not going to be an invasive bamboo and it's not going to become unmanageable. Unlike the phyllostaches, which have got the potential to run, Fargesias generally, they stay clumping and they don't get too big. So this is the bamboo that can definitely fit in smaller gardens, small spaces, or in mixed borders with other plants. It's not going to spread in that border and pop up in other plants. So that's fantastic to know. And secondly, it's not just practical, but it's also very attractive too. It's got an amazing sort of purple-black colour to the culms, and as the new ones push through, they've got a white bloom on them which really contrasts well with it. And it's a plant that's also very useful. So you've got this amazing look to it, but it's great in shady spots too. So like most Fargesias, it will prefer a bit of shelter, a bit of shade, and what you might find is if there's too much sun or too much sort of exposure in winter, it can lose some of its leaves. But I think it's well worth giving it a slightly shady spot for those amazing beautiful culms and that lovely sort of open habit. Because unlike a lot of other Fargesias where they're really tightly packed, you've got all those culms growing up right next to each other, this one, it almost looks like a miniature grove, almost like a larger phyllostaches but shrunk down. So you've got the combination of black culms, an attractive habit, and a really useful plant, doesn't get too big, handy for a shady spot, and it's a great backdrop for the summer plants too. So it's one that I think certainly going to become more popular this year. When it comes to palms, you're probably fed up of hearing, but the Jubea chilensis, the Chilean wine palm, is my absolute favourite cold hardy palm. And whenever anyone asks what's the hardiest, toughest feather palm for UK gardens, the Jubea definitely gets a mention. And it's often included in the same list as Butea odorata, the jelly palm or pindo palm. That's not quite as tough, but it's still a very resilient palm and it grows a bit quicker too. But further down the list, more widely available but nowhere near as tough, you've got the Phoenix canariensis, the Canary Island date palm. And those, they grow very quickly, but they're nowhere near as tough. They can't really take much below -5 unless they're in really sheltered spots and they're a decent size already. So those are generally the 3 main feather palms to the UK. There's slightly different varieties of the Butea, but they all essentially look very similar. However, there is another feather palm, which I'll show you now. Moving the tree fern fronds out of the way then, you'll see tucked in at the back of a shady border, alongside my brick shed, this beautiful little palm. It's a Chamaedorea radicalis, or something like that anyway. It's a fantastic little palm, a very handy, very helpful plant, and one that's definitely underutilised in UK tropical gardens. Why is it such a good palm? Well, firstly, it's a feather palm, but it's very hardy too. I've heard of -6s, -7s, but in reality I think it seems to be tougher than that. Admittedly, mine is planted in a sheltered spot, which I think really helps it, but still, that plant's taken a solid -6 a couple of times last spring, and it absolutely did that fine, no protection, no blemishes whatsoever. I think choosing a sheltered or shady spot's really helpful, but either way, it's a very tough little plant, even in a small size. It is slow growing and you can get a couple of different forms, one that's a bit more bushy and another arborescent form which actually forms a small trunk and can get to about 1.5 meters tall. So it's a handy little plant, and despite it actually coming from Mexico, it's cold tolerant and it actually grows well in shade, which is really unexpected, and it makes it a very handy little palm. Because generally speaking, a lot of these feather palms, to have the best chance of success, they need to be somewhere sunny, well-drained soil, the perfect spot. Whereas this little baby, it's fine in shade, under other plants, where it can just slowly do its thing, slowly grow up in size, but it's still a fantastic looking plant too. So it's a really helpful exotic if you want something a little bit different for a shady spot, something to break up the ferns, the heucheras, the hostas, and to me, it really captures that sort of jungle island vibe where you've got different levels of canopy. And if you want to have something in the shady under canopy, I think a palm is a great choice for that. The third plant I want to show you in today's quick video is this one here. Now, you might have heard of Yucca rostrata. It's a plant that's definitely become more popular over the last few years. They're a very tough plant. They're a spiky architectural plant that does best in full sun, well-drained soil, and they don't need any additional water in here in the UK. But this plant here is Yucca linearis, or linearifolia. It's absolutely fantastic, and whilst I do grow Yucca rostrata, they're amazing. This one is the same thing but better on so many levels. The Yucca rostrata are tough, they can handle a decent amount of cold, but this linearis can handle even more. The rostrata look nice with their flat green leaves, but this one, they're even tighter, even thinner, and stand up straight. It looks absolutely incredible, and it's a plant that's certainly going to grab your attention when you see it. So it's fantastic for creating a Mediterranean arid style look. It's a really tough plant, and here at the end of the garden, this is actually planted next to my fire pit. So it's an area that sees full sun, full exposure, and it won't be getting any kind of winter protection. So for those reasons, Yucca linearis, I think it's absolutely fantastic plant, and it's well worth paying a bit more than a rostrata to get something that's tougher, more beautiful, and it'll look as good as this all the way through the year. So that's just a quick video today, looking at a few plants that I think deserve to be more widely available. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If there's any others that you can think of, drop me a comment below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.